Alright guys, so today I'll be showing you how to load or create successfully a physics world, and I'll be showing you how to create the bodies or the objects that we created when we made our level, and I'll be showing you guys how to parse that data and create bodies based on that. So the first thing we need to do is go to our game scene, and we need to create a variable and call it a private, and it's going to be physics, and just call it physics world and call it m physics world. And we just simply need to import the physics world there, and we can actually create a new method called private void create physics world. All right, and inside of this, what we want to do is we just want to go ahead and create our physics world. So the way we do this is it's pretty simple, but if you've never done it before, of course you don't know how to do it. So you want to just do this m physics world equals new physics world, and inside the parentheses it takes a few parameters, which is a new vector 2, and first parameter is going to, or first argument or vector item is going to be 0, then comma, and then we're going to do sensor manager, and you want to do gravity earth, because we wanted to have the earth gravity, the same gravity we have here on earth, and comma, and then we're going to pass it false, and then just simply import the vector 2 right there, import that, and voila, there's our physics object created. Next thing we need to do is we need to go ahead and do this register update handler and pass it the physics world. So we're passing that physics world as an update handler, so it can update every second or millisecond, whatever the engine uses to update it. And let's go back to our create scene method, and above create level, just do create physics world, just like that. All right, so there we go. So now let's work on creating those objects that we need to create. So the first thing we're going to do is just go up to your create level method right here, and in between the TMX layer and the try and catch statement right there, we want to go ahead and do a for, and we're going to do final TMX object group, and just call it group, and add a colon right there, and group dot get TMX map objects, like that, so we can pass those in a for loop. So every time this for loop calls, it's going to say, hey, do you have another object? And if it does, it's simply going to just pass it to this group here, and then we can use it. All right, so next thing we want to do is we need to go ahead and nest this for loop, and it looks like we're giving us a little problem. Actually, we need to change this to this dot mtmx tile map, like that, get objects. It should be yeah, get TMX object groups. So right here, what it's going to do is it's going to pass that entire object group. It's going to iterate over all those objects in that group and pass them to a specific object, so we can do things with it. And we want to do another we need to do another for loop for, and do TMX object, because right now we have the group here, so it's going to pass all those object groups to this group, and so here we need to pull those objects out specifically. So do TMX object or TMX object, and we can also add final there too, final TMX object, and just call it object, and then we can do group dot get TMX objects, like that, and add a bracket, enter. And so we got to import this, so import that, and there we go. All right, so now we can just simply test each object and see if the object is equal to a certain name, or name that we gave it, and if it is, then we can just simply do something. So for example, let's say the grounds, our ground objects, right? we can do if object dot get name, and we can do equals ground, and you have to make sure this is typed correctly, because if it's not typed correctly, it may not work, it won't work. So we could do ground. So if it equals the ground, then we can add a body. So to add bodies, just pay attention to this method and you'll see how to do it. It's pretty simple also. So we're going to do rectangle, rect equals new rectangle, and do 0, 0, object get width, and object get height, and then pass it VBOM, just like that. And so we have a new rectangle object. And so go ahead and import this. And what we're going to do with this rectangle is we're going to actually create a body based on this rectangle. And as you see, the rectangle's width and height is actually based on the properties from the object from our map. So the next thing we want to do is we want to do rect. Actually, no, we don't. Yeah, we can actually do object too. Object get position, so we can put it in the same position, or get X, like that, and then do object dot get Y, like that, so we can set it in the same position. And next we need to create a fixture definition for our object. So just do fixture def, and then just call it ground fixture def equals new physics, or actually equals physics factory create fixture depth. And we need to pass this a few things. So the density, we could just set it to 0. Elasticity, we can set it to like 0.5 or something. That's too bouncy. Set that to 0 too. And friction, it could be like 0.2 or something. Doesn't really matter. And these should all be floats. So that 0.2 should be 0.2f, like that. And go ahead and import that fixture def. Import that. And so now we're ready to go ahead and create our body. So to create a body, it's pretty simple. All you do is physics factory dot create box body, and pass it to physics world, pass it the rectangle object we created, and then body type, just simply do body type. And we want this body to be static because we want it to stay still. We don't want it to fall or be affected by gravity. So we just want to set that to static because we want it to stay in the same position and not move. And for the fixture depth, just pass the ground fixture depth we created above and add a semicolon, and there it is. So next thing we need to do is we need to go ahead and set some user data for our ground. So we need to do .set user data and set it to ground. So basically what the user data is like a container that can hold any object of type, any object. The user data can hold it, and we can do get user data later on that specific object or body to get that object or whatever we store inside set user data. We can retrieve it later on. So later on, we're going to need to know if that body's a ground object. So we need to just go ahead and do set user data ground right now. And now next thing we need to do is we need to go do rect set visibility to false, because we don't want it to be visible. We don't want to have like some big white rectangle on our game. We want it to just be invisible. And next you want to do attach child and do rect. All right, so that's our first body right there. That's our first body right there created, guys. And you can see it's pretty simple creating bodies in physics world. When you're creating dynamic bodies, it's a little bit different, but I'll show you that next. Let's see how much time we have. 9 minutes. Okay, so I can show you guys a few more things. So the next thing we want to do is go ahead and attach our coin objects. So you want to do if or else if, and the else if is going to be object get name, and if the name equals coin, then we want to create our coin. So inside of here, we want to do simply do new, do sprite, call it coin equals new sprite, and I'm gonna do 0. And what a sprite is basically a texture, or it's basically an object on the scene that we can do things with. So you make it like move, make it jump or whatever. We can do all types of stuff, rotate it. And sprites are basically the main objects of games. So do sprite and 0 and 0. Actually, let's do object get x and object dot get y and object get width. Actually, yeah. Actually, no, we can leave that. Get width and object dot get height. And then we need to pass it. We need to do resource manager, and we need to get that texture, that coin texture right there, and then pass it vbomb. All right, so we need to import this sprite. Go to import sprite, and there it is. We got a new coin object. So now we just need to create a body like we did above for that sprite. So to do that, you simply just do. We can actually copy this fixture def here. Copy that ground fixture def, paste it, and we can call this. We can call this, just call it coin fixture def, and it really don't really need anything. You can actually set this to 0. Everything can be 0 for this one. And next thing we want to do is just do body bod equals physics factory dot create box body, pass it to physics world, pass it that coin shape we created. And for body type, we're going to do dynamic, or actually not dynamic, we're going to do static, and pass it the coin fixture def and end the statement. And go ahead and import that body right there. Do import body. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do coin dot set user data, and set the user data to coin, just like that. Actually, no, let's set it to body. We want to give it that body object right there, so we can pull it out later and do some work with it. When we were removing, once the user collides with the coin, we need to remove it. So this is why we need to pass that body as an object to the coin's user data. And we need to create a linked list up here. So we need to do to manage our coins. So we need to do private and linked list and put sprite in it. And just call it coins equals new linked list sprite, and voila. So now we have that, and import the linked list, import, and go back to your coin method here, and right here you want to do coins dot add, and then we want to just add that coin object itself. So just add coin like that. All right. And that's pretty much it. So for the coin, now what we need to do is we need to go below our TMX layer right here, and we need to just do a for loop for and we're going to do for int I equals 0, and do I is less than coins dot size. Then we want to just I plus plus increment it, and then you just want to do coin this dot attach child, do coins, and just do get, and pass it to I, just like that. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and run it, and let's see what we get. Let's see if we can see our coins. Main menu, play. We got a force close, so let's see what the error is. It's probably something simple we forgot to do. All right, come on. Sometimes it's hard to find the area because you have to like scroll through all of this stuff. Okay, no pointer, create level, coins, I add. Oh, okay. So we actually need to do this below. So we can't do this here. We need to do copy this silly mistake by me, and just put a semicolon, and then on create scene, actually in create level right up here, we can go ahead and do coins equals linked list sprite like that. And now let's run it and see what happens. All right, hit play. All right, and there it is, guys. As you see, there's our coin right there attached, and we can't really tell if our ground is attached, but if it ran successfully, I can almost guarantee you that the ground is there, and the physics world is there now. So we have gravity, all type of cool stuff. And as you see, the coin right there is actually static. It's a static body, so it's not going to fall or anything. If we did want it to fall, we can just set it to like we could set it to like dynamic or something, static body, dynamic body, and if we did that, then it will actually fall down. So that's it, guys, for this section. We learned how to create our physics world and create the bodies. And the next section, next lecture, I think we'll go ahead and create our player object. And everything else we can pretty much do later. As far as our level, we can like add the spikes and everything else later on. But I think the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add our player to the scene. So that's it for this section. I'll see you guys in the next one.